All right, hello again, friends and lovers. Welcome back to Hades 2. We got ourselves a juicy Zeus run, I think, on our hands. It's been a bit since I tried to go for Zeus Dash with Spirit Surge, which is a Zeus boon where every time you use magic, it deals damage to an enemy near you. I'm hoping to get that going on here. So we're going to try our darndest. There's a few things to discuss as we go here. I'm not going to do like a dash or sprint only run per se. If we run out of magic, I'll do stuff to kind of get through it. But, yeah, I'll try to definitely prioritize it. That's how I was kind of setting up the Arcana there. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I did make sure that we do have a sprint on the deck here for Zeus, so let's get going. I do have aspect of Mail for the Axe locked in just because that's the one that gives you more health, so I guess that's what we're going to use it for. Here we go. Thunder Sprint. Your sprint causes surrounding foes to be struck by lightning bolts which use 3 magic each. All right. Let us go. I like it how I'm immediately doing other actions out of habit. But yeah, like breaking these gold pots. Yeah, we've done plenty of like sprint only runs, but I'd like to find a way to kind of actually weave it into just like a normal run without it being like a goof and a gaff necessarily per se. Now, I mean, I get this question probably 1,000 times a day. No, not 1,000 times. I get this question a few times a day, probably while streaming the game. Ooh, okay. We're gonna do Hera. Maybe we could do the goofy Hera-Zeus duo then here. We do gotta think about magic gain, too. I do have the Unseen on. This is an instance where I can't remember if Born Gain works or not with Thunder Sprint. Like, there's some boons where Born Gain just don't work, unfortunately, here. So I guess it doesn't matter what we take for in terms of the duo boon. So yeah, we'll go ahead and take the attack. It's fine. Is there any reason to take anything else I could think of? I don't think so. So we would want like a couple of Hera boons preferably. And also we want the duo boon to come later. We want to get some other things first from both Hera and or Zeus, I guess is what I would say. Anyway, the question that is confronted with me very often. When do I think the update will be? The next update. When do I think the game will come out? When do I think this or that? I mean, I don't have any more information than anyone else, just to make that clear. You know, I guess you could say I have guesses for these things. Are they educated guesses? Not really. You know, I'm basing most of it off of things that I know about Hades 1 and how the early access worked for Hades 1. That's up to you if you want to really call that educated or not. But anyway, all we really know about the next major content update is that they said it would arrive some months after... it's hard to say if they were talking about patch 1 or the last balance patch. The last balance patch was, I think, July 16th. So if it's some months after that, we're approaching the 60-day mark very shortly after this video's been published. So it's coming close. If you want to extrapolate and look at how Hades 1 early access was run, it was such that... Yeah, we'll do Popper's favor. We do want Zeus, but I don't want to skip the shop where there could be more boons, you know what I mean? Aha! Aha! Selene kind of works. No Static Shock. No Storm Ring. There's Double Strike. There's Spirit Surge. Please? We'll take a crappy Double Strike, I guess, for now. We could have considered Ionic Game, but I don't know. I didn't really want it. Okay, now I don't want to skip this mini-boss. Okay, we got more Zeus. That's good. Because we want to get that out of the way. And this is a juicy Spirit Surge. Okay, I'm thinking about it because you got to be a little bit different here. Okay, we'll get a juicy Spirit Surge out of this. It's from a mini-boss, so it'll have a higher rarity and everything. Yo. Hopefully. So, 60 days is coming up. If you want to look at Hades 1 early access, the major content updates when the game first launched into early access way back in December 2018, they were launching what they called major updates every 30 days or so. It was every month that we got something major. It only lasted for a few updates, I think, and then they wound up swapping over to a 60-day format. So every 60 days, we got a pretty major update. You know, it was different what every single update would have. You know, we didn't get like a third biome for quite a while, probably at least 6 months. I'm gonna say it's kind of hard to say. I mean, the blog is there for everything. Spirit Surge, let's go. Practically doubles the actual sprint damage here then, right? So now we just want to focus on getting more Hera boons, but not taking the... not taking the duo yet. I think I'd want at least 2 Hera boons to keep it cool. So yeah, 60 days is what you'd have to wait for Hades 1. They're clearly going with a different format here for Hades 2 because they're keeping things a lot more loose. And I think that's fair. The other thing is Hades 2 is a bigger game, I would say, than Hades 1 in a lot of ways, like right away. You know, there's just like a lot more to it, I think, with the 2 different zones. So therefore, there's more things to keep in mind as well. You could do First Blood or Death Warrant. I guess I'll do Death Warrant. Support Fire doesn't work with this, sadly. So, I mean, so if you want just like, you gotta hear me like throw a guess out for you what I think is gonna happen for this update. I mean, I'm gonna say, I mean, it could happen any day, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes a bit longer. So they've actually already promised quite a bit, a 6th weapon and a 3rd biome for the surface in the next major content. I say promise. It's in the roadmap, though, that's what they're hoping to deliver in the next. So if that's what we're getting, ooh, let's go, baby. So if that's what we're getting, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get that for, I don't know, a couple more months on top of it now. We can use Ionic Gain. I could just use more Thunderbolts with Storm Ring, actually. It befits the theme, whereas Ionic Gain is kind of whatever. We'll say, yeah, sure, we'll do that. More Thunderbolts, especially if we're getting, if we have like double strike and everything going on. I gotta watch out for her purpley Thunderbolts. So I don't know. I guess I would, if I were a betting man, I would say, oh man, I'm feeling hard pressed right now. Sometime before Silk Song releases, at least. I'll give you that much. So, a lot of people also ask, that's the next major content update. The roadmap has a little bit more info about what it'll contain or what they hope that it'll contain. They're not making a lot of promises right now. I'm personally okay with that because I kind of like the surprises and everything. Bridal Glow, no. Does this count proper upbringing as a... Will that get eaten? I'm actually not sure. I'm actually going to take the special because I don't know how like an infusion boon would work there in that case. No to all of that. I don't actually have any magic regen still. I probably should have taken that max magic in hindsight then, huh? Probably was a better choice. Sprint faster. Doesn't actually do anything, so you should probably just take greater evasion. Yeah, I mean, Selene will do something, but... screw it. We'll pick her up. We'll pick her up out here. Moonwater. Moonwater it is. Sure. Yoink. Release. Release date. Release date. I mean, I think somewhere on there, Greg, the lead writer for the studio. Writer? Is that the proper term? Creative director? Something along those lines. He's already said that we're going to be looking at some point in 2025 at least. It is not coming this year. 1.0 of the game. What will 1.0 have? Let me bash her a little bit here. All right, use the cast. So what will 1.0 have? Well, you're probably looking at 4 biomes on each path, at least. Bosses for each one, you know, kind of like the standard setup that we've been seeing in the games. Oh, there's a witch here still. That's my guess. 6 weapons, 4 aspects each, and probably a lot more stuff than what we already think the game will have. They tend to, they're good at keeping things a surprise, I think, over at Supergiant Games. I think they tend to, you know, under-promise, over-deliver. I really do think that they managed to do that quite well. I mean, one, for instance, is that they gave us 6 weapons in Hades 1 in early access, and everyone seemed pretty happy with it. Didn't really, you know, no one was expecting a lot more than that, I would say. or anything. And then all of a sudden, every weapon had 4 different aspects. Well, they started with only 3 each, but they promised 4 each, and it's just like, holy shit. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot to suddenly throw out there for everybody. You know, you just weren't really expecting that, I gotta say. Same thing with the second side to the mirror. It's just like, whoa, it's gonna be a whole second side to the mirror of night, you know? And you're gonna have to actually make some decisions around it. Just something that you didn't really expect. So don't be surprised if you get surprised, I guess is the best way I can describe it. You know, so when do I think 1.0 will come? Where's the spread on this bad boy? I don't know. I guess I'm going to say like fall of 2025 probably. Because if you think about it, if we're going to get probably one major update again this year, it's going to have a 3rd biome for the surface. It's going to have the 6 weapons, some cosmetics for the crossroads, as they said. Then that means we're probably only looking at a few more major content updates after that to get what's promised. There's Queen's Ransom, huh? Oh, wait, no, we don't take Queen's Ransom. We need a Zeus boon now. Oh, man, I almost messed up. Okay, so yeah, we gotta... So I guess I don't fill in Born Gain. Guess I'll rarify Nasty Comeback. Then we need a Zeus boon to actually gobble her boons now. We have 1, 2, 3 of them. So I'd be perfectly fine with doing it now. Oh my god, there's more. Is it greedy? No way. We only have the 2 gods. I don't like spending money here, though, if I don't have to. I should probably get more gods in the pool, though. Mint condition, good. We like. All right, sure, more Hera. Hopefully we'll get the second mini-boss offered. Which I think is, like, kind of guaranteed to be Tony at this point, then. I don't know, for some reason, I don't have, like, reasons. I'm thinking, like, toward the end of next year, basically. That's gonna be my guess. I get the vibe that they got a lot more planned for the game. You know, there's gonna be a lot more things might get reworked and such like that. Dying Wish, huh? I don't know if Born Gain works or not. I'm kind of nervous about taking it because of that. You think it'll be okay? I hope it'll be okay. We're gonna eat it anyway eventually. Okay, hit a Zeus boon for me here. Ooh, lovely. Oh, wow, it did. Oh, double strike, too. That's a good one. Level 2, it went to 15%. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to go this way. So we need more Zeus, and we can probably make that happen. The question is, can we make sure that he actually offers us the duo boon? I'm not going to be any greedier than this, I think, with... How many Hera boons? 4? That's 16 palms on our Zeus boons already. I mean, if she shows up, by all means, you know what I mean? Holy shit. But I think the next Zeus boon we get, if he offers the duo boon, we're probably going to take her. Nothing good here. What are some things... I don't know why... I'm kind of consolidating a bunch of thoughts into one video, I guess, here. And not that it'll stop people from asking questions. I don't mind if people ask questions, you know. At worst, I just might not answer if I just answered that question like 4 minutes ago or something. But yeah, but by all means, like, it certainly doesn't bother me. So what kind of things am I hoping that they add? I mean... I don't know. I mean, I've said it 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. Like an alternative, like sort of custom mode that maybe we could set ourselves as we're starting out to set specific rules. I'm being really vague here, a little bit on purpose. I think. I do think something like that would go a long way, though. We're too broke. We don't need hammers, really. Nor do I don't really want Selene that bad.
This one.
Okay, I gotta stop. Okay, I did 2 rolls.
The path of stars.
I did 2 rolls. That's the best I could do. I Actually, the magic is weirdly convenient here, probably for us. More uses is nice. More uses. Pervious for 2 seconds ain't so bad. This one also restores magic, but 50 is already kind of a decent amount. We're probably not going to need the money, if I were to guess. We only have one more. Ah, screw it. Do the magic again. This way we have 4 uses going into here, so hopefully we don't have to, like, stop and wait for me. Oh, right, I have Born Gain right now. I kind of forgot. Either way. All right, run into him, baby. Some kind of separate game mode would be great, I think. I would love it. Like, sort of a custom mode. I mean, you can look at a game like Dead Cells and see what they've done there, maybe. In that you can, you know, set which items are going to appear, basically. What kind of equipment. I don't really think... I don't want it to strictly be like that, like, you get to choose what boons appear. I don't know, you could choose, like, which gods appear, though, and it's not a bad idea, I think, right? It could be a fun time, but there could be a lot of other rules that you put in place, too, potentially. I do think they've already adjusted the game to be a bit more friendly towards speedrunners than some aspects in Hades 1. Namely around, like, certain elements of RNG. No, there's no more SAC RNG. Whether or not that was actually a cognitive thought, like something they had to consider and be like, okay, we're not going to do it to him this time. I don't know. I don't know. Huh. Oh, Born Gain did work. Okay. Huh, you can actually keep sprinting while dropping the cast, I think, kind of? You don't have to re-dash? I don't know. Not sure about that. I think something on the Arcana card system, it is it's a system that is already rather complex, and you have to think about it for every single kind of run. And I hear some people say, like, they get sick of having to think about it and change it and stuff like that. But in between each run, too, you know, which is interesting. What would we want here? You know what's an interesting one is Concave Stone with this. It would be 2 Zeus boons. How would that work? If I got both of them at once, it probably wouldn't work. I'm kind of curious about it, though. Let's try it out. I'm thinking, like, if you get the duo boon at the same time, it'll kill all of the Hera boons. Assumedly, it'll go in order, and the additional boon we would get from Zeus, assumedly, would not actually be helpful. I'm not sure, though. Other things, I mean, the things that we already are expecting, I think, like the sixth weapon and the future aspects to the game, you know, that's going to be a lot of content, and you get the future zones and everything. I mean, I think everyone already kind of is requesting this, and we all maybe partially know that we're going to get it, but extreme measures, like, it has to come back, right? It has to come back. I guess I'm just going to come out and say it. Please make sure it comes back in some shape or form. I mean, everyone loved it, as far as I could tell. It was just, I mean, it was, I do think it was mostly around the final fight. It is a lot of effort to put into the game, for sure, but my God, it is just, it was just such a great addition to Hades 1 that it would be really unfortunate if we didn't get it for Hades 2 here, I guess is what I would say. Thunder Sprint it is here for now. There's Zeus. Don't need to roll. Here we go, baby. So I guess we'll see if Concave Stone does anything, really. She's going to get a lot of healing there. Well, we are going to run out of Born Gain, assumedly very shortly. Okay, so it's not working. But I can force Born Gain to trigger by using the Omega Cast. Okay, so we can use that for maybe just this room. I kind of forgot about that aspect of it. Shocking loss, you say? Can't be palmed. I didn't even try to get it, huh? It's not even that good. Whenever you first deal damage to susceptible foes, you may destroy them outright. 20% chance. Is it that good? It would actually be interesting to take another random Zeus boon here that is palmable. And we're hoping that Echo can... Yeah, we're gonna have to roll. Okay. This was the safe thing to do, because it's too dangerous, really. Because if I never get it, it kind of blows the whole run. All right, ready. King's Ransom. Yum, 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 yum. Oh, Concave Stone hit Static Shock. Well, I think that's good, mostly. So did Static Shock get buffed? It did not. I wouldn't have thought so. Actually, wait a minute. Static Shock kind of sucks. Because your strikes emit lightning. That's basically useless. Double Strike, 48%. Spirit Surge, 61 damage each. Storm Ring, 81 damage. Thunder Sprint, 120 damage. All right. I'll take more Zeus now, and now I'll take Shocking Loss. How's about that? Okay, we did get Boon of Zeus, at least.
Farewell, Echo.
Now I'll take Shocking Loss. It says the first time they're, like, susceptible to damage or something. Divine Vengeance would have been a fun one to get. Air Quality... would hit. As far as I can tell, nothing. Yeah, that's useless.
Fates won't mind.
Damn, didn't get the cool thing. All right. Divine Vengeance, I guess it is. More Zeus. Sure. Now we'll get the legendary. Where was I? Get up, baby! Holy crap, that's beautiful. That's amazing. It's too bad, like, the Poseidon duo that makes it so enemies take more lightning damage. You have to apply slip to them, so it would be very hard to work it in here. I guess you could get Poseidon's cast and apply slip to them with that, which requires 2 boons on its own. It's still kind of a lot to ask for, though, I gotta admit. But yeah, that's one thing that could have been done. I did look at it ahead of time. It's like, I'd like to, but it's kind of hard on top of everything else. This was kind of more fun than just like 30% more lightning damage, I figured. Do we just grab Ionic Gain? I guess I do. That way we don't have to wait around or anything. Yeah, taking Static Shock was a bit unfortunate. Holy shit, they're melting! It's disgusting. How do you get out of here? So anyway, extreme measures with like the music and everything. I got a really strange request. It just kind of popped on like YouTube music as a recommended song that I kind of forgot about. But some songs from like the Doom Eternal soundtrack just started playing. I was like, you know what? Give us that Mick Gordon style for Extreme Measures 4 and Hades 2 against Kronos. Oh my god, it'd be so cool, wouldn't it? Give us that bad boy, huh? Oh my god, can we get a guest appearance out here? Can we somehow find a way to get them to collaborate? It would be badass. Random Palm, Divine Vengeance. Apollo. Give me Light Smite. We've got 2 Vengeance boons on us now. Sir B. Look at him go! We are certainly draining the magic. Is he down? Oh, he's down. It's not so bad, though. Holy crap. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Moon Water once we get below enough. That is cool. That is cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my god. I saw someone on Reddit post a winning screenshot that was basically very similar to this. I was like, oh my god, I gotta go for it. I mean, we got kind of lucky with all the Zeus and Hera appearing on their own, I guess you could say. But yeah, oh my god, it's beautiful. Chaos Trials. I love the idea. We need more around it, and not necessarily more trials. If you could make your own trials, if you could share trials, at least let us redo the trials for sure too, right? It seems like that's where they're going with that. I don't know about the rest of y'all. It kind of seems like that's where it's going. Black and Fleece doesn't work. Oh. Is there anything here that really does a whole lot? Unfortunately not. I mean, you could go Silver Wheel, but I don't think we need to. Hang it up. We'll look at Chaos. Omega Moves will not buff the sprint. But yeah, something more around the trials I think would be great. It feels like a nice idea. But we just need... It just needs a little more time. And a few more features or something. More ways to have players, like, interact with it more. I guess another random request here. This one's a bit specific, I'll admit. If they are going to add a hell mode back again, please have it be different in some way, I think, than how it was in Hades 1. Don't make it what hell mode was in Hades 1, I think. New players are not going to understand. Like, new players to Hades 1, you're just not going to know what the hell mode is without having played the game. You know, it's, like, impossible to really know what it's going to do. And it just turns out it doesn't do a whole lot, unfortunately. Plus 48 magic, huh? 5 encounters, though? Is there anything here that would do a whole lot? That doesn't do anything. This doesn't do anything. Sprint slower. I don't have any infusion boons presently. 4 encounters. Will I consider? You're not really going to feel that this badly, weirdly. I didn't really like how hell mode was set up in Hades 1. It didn't feel like it really changed the game enough. You could pretty closely imitate hell mode on a regular save file, so it kind of always felt to me like if you're gonna do a completely different game mode that you have to set at the start of your save file creation, it should be a bit broader than what we got. Here we go, baby! Shock and loss. I'm gonna do the extra chambers mostly to get rid of this curse here, I think, at this point. I almost feel like it doesn't matter to me, obviously, but for the sake of the larger player base, Hades 1 might have been better off without hell mode. I'm not gonna get into the whole thing about like the differences. If you don't know them, like I've talked about it like 1,000 times before, but it was kind of like a missed opportunity, almost like an unfinished idea a little bit. So I'm all for I guess what I'm boiling it down to here is I'm all for completely separate harder difficulty or mode or whatever you want to call it. Oh, I don't want to fish. I'm lazy. Way too lazy for that. I'm all for something, but I would prefer something that can't really be just straight up imitated on a regular save file beyond one very small mechanic. I wouldn't even mind like a hardcore mode in some way. Maybe your save file starts a bit advanced, maybe fully fleshed out, and then when you die, you know, the save file's over kind of situation. I think that would be actually quite cool. I mean, crazy. Here's the thing, though, and I have to admit it. This is something that would be great for someone like myself who wants to get a lot more time out of the game, a lot more content. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That would be great for someone like me. Will that serve the larger audience of the game? I'm not so sure, honestly. I'm not so sure. Maybe, though. Maybe. Sometimes you just don't know. Maybe. In terms of the story, some people ask me... I know, I'm finally going back to another question here, potentially, at least. Some people will ask me, like, what do I want to see from the story? I don't really have requests when it comes to that. You know, I don't have major, you know, like, I don't have major headcanon or whatever developed. We'll do Double Strike, I guess, there. What am I looking at? Like, I don't have anything like that. I leave that to them, is the way I'm looking at it. I want to see what they come up with, and I don't really think too hard about what could be, for the most part. I don't think I do, at least. Of course, I'm very curious what Zag's going to be up to. I'm excited to see where that's going to go. Am I really craving to get, like, you know, Zag by the barrelful or anything here? No, like this is Mel's story. I've seen enough Zagreus in my lifetime at this point. But, of course, I am curious. I'm curious. What the heck is he doing? Is he chilling? I mean, they did show it in the story for Hades 2 already that he is captive in some way. But yeah, very curious where they're going with this story in the game. I'm really enjoying it, I guess you could say, too. You know, they've managed to tug at a lot of strings that we all have as players by showing Cerberus in the state, Hades in his state. You know, there's been a lot of bad things happening. They've kind of turned everything that we thought we developed in the first game on its head to some degree. Oh, wow. Spiteful Strength is weirdly interesting here. Sure. Sure. Back burner. It's that time, like, I feel like I've talked about it a lot here. It might kind of work. Lion Fang is probably almost useless now because I took too many chambers, but oh well. That's okay. That's okay.
Kronos.
The fates cannot help you now.
If you haven't played Supergiant's other games, please go play them. They're so good. They're so good. If you have not experienced the Sob factory that is Transistor, I do recommend. I highly, highly recommend it. Woo, zap him! Okay, I'm gonna take a minute to appreciate this Kronos massacre. Brainstorming the thumbnail clickbait as we speak. A shocking victory. Oops. This build really struck me. Oh. Alright, remember to make use of moon water. Whoop. Oh man, it's interesting how like that transition was so smooth there. Oh shit, he's just dead at the end of that. What the hell did that chunk at the end? That was pretty insanity, I gotta say. That was pretty silly. That's gotta be the silliest run I've had. Now, did we need a lot of things to happen? Sure, but who gives a shit? Like, it was amazing. The Hand of Zeus. Because we just had so many Zeus boons, right? Is that all it was? Yeah. Storm Ring, get that on there. Get Double Strike on there. And get Spirit Surge on there, I suppose. I don't even know if Shocking Loss deserves to be on there because these were like the really cool ones. So the Sprint did most of it. Cast actually did quite well. Spirit Surge didn't do bad. 40k. Not as good as the other. It is interesting. 61 damage each, 81 damage each. Okay, yeah, cooldown is 0.25 seconds for each. Yeah, Spirit Surge actually requires you to spend magic. Whenever you use magic, a random surrounding foe is struck by lightning. Yeah. I don't think like Spirit Surge needs to get buffed. Maybe it does, actually. I don't know. Maybe it needs more damage, but a longer cooldown. That way you can't abuse it too much. That way it's not buffed too much for this particular build. But I feel like in other builds, it's a weak boon, typically. Like, you're just not spending enough magic to make it worthwhile. So, increase the cooldown, but also increase the damage a lot. That way, I feel like it would be more usable in other places, I think. Fun build. Fun run. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions that I didn't answer, I know I just rambled my way through this one, as I do with most anyway. Feel free to ask in the comments. You know the deal. Like and subscribe too if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.